G'day there guys, how's it going? Markee here, back again with another episode of r/Idontworkherelady. Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the quality content. Posted by user FrenchFries83, titled, Husband Goes Full Drill Sergeant on a Karen. Before I start the story, I have to tell you about my husband. I'm French, and we met while he was on vacation in Europe. One thing led to another, and I now live in Ohio with him. He is a hard-working gentleman, an army veteran of 2 conflicts, and though he has a very serious and almost hostile demeanor, think resting bear face, but angrier and on a guy. He's a big teddy bear, he's quick to make a joke or pull a prank, and easy to laugh. He's also very protective of me. Since I'm not here to gush on him, I'll go on. We were out getting groceries last week. As we were checking out, I was bagging up all of our stuff because the store now requires that you bag your own goods if you bring your own bags. No big deal, he pays, and I stay out to help a very elderly lady behind him bag her groceries and push them in her cart. He had helped her unload them, and we offered to help her put them in her car. She shuffles away from the register and I move to follow. As I turn away, I hear behind me, "Where the hell do you think you're going?" I turn to see a very angry-looking woman glaring at me. I told her politely that I didn't work at the store and I had just helped the elderly lady to be polite, and that I was now leaving with my husband to go home. I had never met an American Karen before, so I thought this would be the end of it. I turn away and feel a vice grip on my arm. "Don't be lazy, just do your job and help bag my groceries." I didn't even have time to respond. She had barely finished speaking when my husband wrenched her hand off me and was yelling in her face. This was the first time in the 10 years we've been together that I saw the old soldier come out. His nose might have been 3 inches from hers, and his voice was loud and frightening. "Who the hell do you think you are? How dare you put your hands on my wife? She told you she doesn't work here. Are you too bloody stupid to understand simple English? Go pay for your crap, bag your own damn groceries, and don't you dare utter another bloody sound." The silence after that was intense. A store full of people could hear a pin drop. The look on her face wasn't even angry. It was pure terror. She shuffled back to her aisle and waited for the cashier. My husband went to the old lady and said, "I am so sorry you had to hear all that, ma'am. I apologize if my language was offensive. I hope you will still allow us to help you load your groceries into your car." It was surreal, like he had just flipped on a switch and flipped it back off. Also, we got chased down by the store manager, who suggested we could be banned because of the yelling and bad language. Husband just shrugged and said they'd better ban Karen too for assaulting me, and that there are other grocery stores in town. We just got to this one because it's close. We didn't get banned. I'm a manager in a grocery store. Something similar like this happened. A Karen was very rude to a couple. They put her in her place. Karen then asked to speak to the manager, said I needed to ban them for harassing her. In my case, I had seen and heard everything. To keep her happy and to keep her from calling corporate on me again, I walked out behind them and apologized to them for having to deal with a Karen. They were really nice and wished me good luck with people like her. Lol. Karen was very happy. She thought she really got them banned. A few weeks later, she's now the one banned for theft. Finally got her on camera. Posted by user Andros198, titled, Mormon Missionary, title is sex tape, gets mistaken for a cop. In the mid-2000s, I was a Mormon missionary. If any have knocked on your door, you know the type. A pair of young men wearing white shirts, ties, and dark slacks with very naive looks on their smiling faces. "Hello, my name is Elder Markee, and I would like to share with you the most amazing book." And asking if you want to change churches. Sometimes mistaken for Jehovah's Witnesses, often knocking at the most inconvenient times. Usually trying their best to do what their culture has told them is their God-given duty. I was living in the Cincinnati area. My companion and I rode bikes wherever we went. In the summer, it can be pretty hot and humid. We didn't have many wardrobe options. The uniform is the uniform after all, but we could wear short-sleeved white shirts, still with a tie and dark slacks. Riding our bikes, we had some pretty nice helmets, with a visor and everything, so posh. Because backpacks were verboten, we would usually wear cross-chest satchels, coupled with our black name tags. I have to admit we looked a bit like bike cops. Well, I think someone else thought so too. We were pedaling as fast as we could to the next neighbor for another long day of people not wanting to talk to us. Being a Mormon missionary can be a soul-crushingly monotonous experience. All of a sudden, a speeding car cut right in front of us, making us put on the brakes as hard as we could. A flustered man jumped out of his car and says, "You need to call in a massive case of road rage." Apparently, he encountered a driver in the form of a Karen. He saw us riding down the road and thought he was in luck encountering some bike cops who could call it in. I wished we could have helped him, but we told him that we weren't cops. He looked down at our name tags, and a mixture of crestfallen deflation and fear swept over this man's face. He was afraid we were going to ask him if he had found Jesus or something. We apologized that we couldn't help him. Crestfallen, he got back into his car and drove away. My companion and I looked at each other, smiling, knowing this would be the most excitement we would have all day. Posted by user Van Not Van, titled, "I don't work here, I'm a vendor." My husband, 29 male, and I, 30 female, work for a beer distributor in our area. We both work on the grocery chain side of the business. So we going to grocery stores, not together, and put away orders, build displays, rotate, and all that fun stuff. So on a daily basis, someone will come up to me and mistakenly think I work there. I will kinda say, "Oh, I'm so sorry I don't work here. I'm a beer vendor." Most people understand and walk away. Don't get me wrong, I've definitely helped a little old lady get something off a top shelf, but most of the time I don't actually know the information to help them. We both go to multiple stops a day, and not every store is set up the same way. I don't think any of my stories are good enough by themselves, but here are two that stick out in my mind. I once had an old lady come up to me and say, "All stocking should be done at night. You shouldn't be in the middle of the aisle when there are customers in the store." I look at her and say nothing, and continue to fill the shelf. She scoffed at me and said, "How rude!" and she walked away. Had a good laugh later with the manager about it. At a different account, the liquor department had its own registers, and I was pulling a pallet of back stock back to the back, but I had to go past the registers to get where I needed to go, and the line was very long. This guy in his late 30s comes out of line and up to me, demanding that I get on the register and cash him out. I do my whole, "Oh, I'm so sorry I don't work here." And still, in a demanding tone, he said, "Well, go get someone." And without stopping, I say, "But I don't work here." And as I'm rounding the corner to get out of the liquor department, he yells at me, "Sir, I can walk out of these doors and you're not going to stop me?" And without even looking at him, I say, "Peace," and give him a peace sign as I walk out the department. He was still in line when I came back with another pallet of beer to work. I'm thinking about making a post on Tales of Retail about how people have been crazy during COVID. Again, no one big story, but a few small ones. Thanks for reading. Posted by user Imitali, titled, "Woman grabs my girlfriend and I snap." So me and my girlfriend were just out trying to enjoy our day, so we go to a local bookstore. It's a small place, and the owners are friends of my girlfriend's family, and we help out every now and again, so we have a key to get in when they're closed. A woman sees us opening the door and asks if we're open. I tell her we're just running errands for the owners and that the store isn't open. She gets upset at me, demanding we let her in, saying, "It's just me, you're not going to get sick from one person," or some crap like that. My girlfriend tries to tell her we can't let anyone in because then we have to let everybody in, and we aren't the owners. So the woman goes to snatch the key from my girlfriend and grabs her wrist. My girlfriend is having a panic attack. I should mention that my girlfriend has PTSD and anxiety issues. So I grab the woman's wrist and pressure point her to get her to let go of my girlfriend and shove her and start berating her, using pretty colorful language. She tackles me and I punch her. Cops are called by some passerby, I guess, and they come over and tear her off me and ask what the hell happened. Woman tries to argue we assaulted her and that she was just trying to pick up a book for her son. We tell him to check the cameras for the store because we know there are cameras watching the door that see almost into the street. He proceeds to arrest the woman. I get a warning to not be so aggressive next time, and my foster's called. I'm 16. Now I'm grounded for fighting and can't leave the house for a month. Posted by user Ovea Oscura, titled, "Covidiot tries to touch me." I've never had an I don't work here lady experience in my life, until yesterday. My partner and I were at a home improvement store where the employees wear maroon smocks or aprons. I was wearing a black tulle shirt and a bright sky blue jacket. He was wearing a blue sweater and jeans. We both were wearing masks and gloves and talking about whether the planter we were looking at would sit well on the rails of our deck. All of a sudden, a woman wearing no mask and no gloves comes within 3 feet of me, almost in between us, and starts asking questions about a dead plant she's holding. I politely tell her that we do not work there, and she starts cackling wildly, reaching out to grab my arm. I hopped backwards to avoid her and curtly say, "Don't touch me, please." She rolls her eyes at me and scurries off with her flatbed card and supposed dead plant, in what I assume is a search of someone who actually works there. All the while, my partner is looking at me with what I imagine is a look of total shock, but I can only see his eyes, which are huge. We were surprised enough at the level of the audacity this woman had in trying to grab me that it took us a second to get back to what we were discussing. I'm just super grateful she didn't actually get a hold. I know this post is pretty tame in comparison to some, but I was definitely at a loss for words. Edit, to answer a few questions. 1. It was not the wrench shirt, although I do own one, but one from the Fear Inoculum tour with Alex Gray's torch on the back. 2. We were shopping for a planter now because we accidentally overplanted and didn't want to waste the money on killing our herbs. This was a necessity trip. 3. My boyfriend is a chemist and taught me how to take off gloves without ever touching my own skin, and we are super careful about when we wear them and what we touch while we do. We live super far from everything, so we want to add that extra layer of protection in case we don't get home soon enough before hand washing. 4. Also, thank you for the upvotes and the insight. You guys are saying so much more than we were even thinking in the moment. Posted by user DM Fayray, titled, Costco Karen. I work in an office with fairly high security. We have to wear a lanyard that says staff when we're at the office with our picture and name tag attached to it. I tend to be a pretty forgetful person, so I wear mine all the time and only remove it once I get home and put it on a book beside the door so I know I won't forget it. I also usually go shopping after work. So one day I'm at Costco, doing my shopping, and I run over to another aisle as I realized I got the wrong types of something or other from the frozen section. So I exchange them and I'm walking back towards where my boyfriend is with the cart. Then I hear fingers snapping and a woman calling, "Here, here." I turn around because I'm curious and lock eyes with her, and she gestures me over. I don't recognize her, but I also don't want to be rude, so I go over. She's on her phone. "Can I help you?" I asked her. "How much is this?" "I don't know," I tell her, kinda confused as to why she's asking me. She looks at me like I'm an idiot, her eyes bulging out. "I'm on the phone," she says. I'm just standing there, holding my mini quiches or whatever, wondering why she called me over and who she is. I'm also wondering why she's telling me why she's on the phone when I can see that perfectly well. "Okay," I tell her, and start turning around to walk away. She starts tutting, which I'm really confused by, and I turn back around. She's looking at me expectantly, and honestly I've been working all day and this is confusing the hell out of me, so I just tell myself to ignore her and I start walking away again. She does a weird tut hissing sound, but I ignore her and keep walking. She runs up to me with her cart and taps me on the shoulder. "Why aren't you helping me?" She whispers screams at me. "Why would I help you?" I ask her. I'm genuinely so confused by this entire interaction. She points to my lanyard that says staff, and it finally clicks into place. "Oh," I say, "I don't work here." I swear the look on her face. She was horrified. She apologized to me like 6 times, and I was finally able to go back to my boyfriend, where he told me that I got the wrong thing from the frozen section again. Whoops. Posted by user Wafer2016, titled, Drunk Guy Decides Our Kitchen is a Pizza Place. So, it was a warm night in August when this took place. Crickets were chirping, kids were snoring, and my bestie and I were hanging out in the kitchen, chatting and eating potato chips. Chips. We were having such a great time, and before we knew it, the clock read just past 2 a.m. Whoops. Phone rang. Now, you have to understand, where I'm from, if someone calls after 9 p.m, there better be bleeding, death, or police involved, or we get really cranky. Friend answered the phone with dread written all over her face. Drunk guy says, I wanna order a pizza. Friend's like, face quickly morphing to annoyed, says, you have the wrong number, and hung up. Simple, right? Oh, but we wouldn't be here if it were. Phone rings again. I answer, slightly growly. Hello? Says, wanna order a pizza. Now this was before cell phones. I know, the dark ages. And my friend didn't have caller ID. We already told you, wrong number. This is our house, not a pizza place. Stop calling us. I hung up and we checked the kids to make sure they were still sleeping. Phone rings again, we run back to the kitchen and I get there first. Hello? What do you want? I want a pizza. Listen, you a-hole. You have the wrong freaking number. Stop calling us, and I slammed it back down. Phone rings, friend says, oh hell no. So she answers. Friend, Bob's Pizza, how can I help you? Pepperoni? I start to grin. Extra cheese? No problem, you want free garlic sticks? Oh, be there in half an hour. And I'm dying laughing. That was the last time he called. We think he passed out waiting for his mythical pizza and garlic sticks. To this day, if I see someone I know on caller ID, I will answer Bob's Pizza. Posted by user Let's Try This Again 30, titled, Take Me Out of Your Group Text. Not exactly the premise for this sub, but very much in the spirit. Years ago, before chat apps where you can seamlessly set up a group chat with lots of people were common, group texts were how people communicated when you wanted to reach a lot of people at once and wanted them to see it because no one checked their email regularly. It was not ideal, as depending on people's quality of service, quality of phone, or just how many people were trying to send a text, or Lord forbid a picture at the same time, texts showed up out of order or sometimes took hours for some to receive them. You'd be surprised how much battery receiving a bunch of texts would drain your battery as well. It was during this time that my partner, then still a friend, was accidentally added to a text group full of 15 or so soccer mums and the coach, because whoever set it up mistyped one of the mums' phone numbers. Oh yeah, another drawback of text groups, you had to put in every number by hand if you didn't already have them registered in your phone. It was a more primitive time. They were quick to bring up that they mistyped a number and that they needed to make another one. This time including the mum that got left out when they mistakenly put in the wrong number. The mistake was acknowledged, but they kept on sending texts like, "It's too hard to make a new one. Just silence your phone. This is a necessary group text for our kids," etc. Oh, another drawback. Holy crap, were there a lot. You couldn't take yourself out of a group text back then, and blocking numbers wasn't an option on all cell phone carriers or plans. My future partner started getting really ticked, and their phone kept on ringing throughout the day and didn't know if someone was trying to get a hold of them or if it was the soccer mums. They made their anger known and used some colourful language, questioning their intelligence and humanity and demanding that they stop using that group text. Apparently some of the mums missed the initial texts saying that they were not one of the soccer mums. They responded with, "Do you speak to your son like that? You should be banned from the field. It's okay, coach. Some of us appreciate what you do." This had been going on for 3 days, and the soccer mums kept on using the chat, which has now developed into calling my partner rude. So they escalated their response. They googled cat autopsy pics and started spamming it to the chat. The soccer mums were horrified and threw a fit. "How dare you? You sick freak! This is harassment! Don't mess with cats!" Were all among the texts sent to the group. Every time one of the mums demanded they stop, all they said was, "Take me out of the group," and only that, followed by more cat autopsy pictures. It lasted a couple of hours, and they admitted later that the group text finally started getting fun, but they seemed to abandon the group text. No idea if they felt starting another one was worth it, but at least they didn't mistakenly put my partner's phone number in. It truly was a more primitive time. Posted by user Sungor, titled, "But you're a guy, ... Yesterday, I was shopping in a hardware store for some LED bulbs. It was taking a while because the ones I wanted weren't exactly common. They ended up only having one that fit what I needed. Behind me were furnace filters. As I am studying all the bulbs trying to find the one that I need, a middle-aged lady got my attention. I look over and she asks, "Is this a furnace filter?" She's holding her hand in a furnace filter. I say, "Well, I don't work here, but yeah, that is a furnace filter. Do you know what size you need?" She said, "Oh good, I knew I needed this size, but wasn't sure if this was for a furnace. I know you don't work here, but you're a guy, so I knew you would know the answer." Thankfully for her, I did indeed know the answer. Also, thankfully she didn't ask me any more questions about furnaces because she exhausted my limited knowledge on the subject. Posted by user Cody is a Beast, titled, "This is going to be short, awesome mother." My mother lives next to a home pet groomer, and it is cheap. So, that means there is usually an American Karen's they park in my mum's parking spot all the time. They think it's my mother that is the groomer and yells at her for bad service before it gets into a physical fight. She points them to the actual groomer. They don't bother to ever move. My mother owns a bunch of different sized car wheel lock things. I don't know what they're called. Then she puts the lock on the wheel and goes straight inside. Then she watches a show she likes, and the Karens never fail to bang on the door to make it feel like it's a nuclear war. She takes her sweet time and says she will be done in a minute, as the mothers always exasperate with 30 minutes. When she is done, they are obviously visually angry. Then my mother tells the Karens it'll be $100 to get off. My mother always has extra money from her second job to spend. Edit, driveway to those who thought it was only a singular parking spot. What the? I had a stroke. What is going on in this story? G'day there guys, Outro Markee here. Hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed making it today. If you did, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Tell me what you thought about it down below. Also, if you like memes, be sure to head on over to my second channel, Markee 2. It should be one of the sexy Australian faces on screen, the one without the flag. It's my latest and greatest creation, and I hope you like it. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You guys do so much good for me, and the support goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I love you guys, and I appreciate all the help and support you provide me on this channel. Also, if you want to join the family, links are down in the description below, or click that join button next to the subscribe button. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that one today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!